Hi. When I tell y'all it's been 2 weeks. It's been 2 weeks. And I don't mean that in the timely sense. I mean, what a 2 weeks this has been. I started residency. First day is done. Crazy. It was such a quick day. We got in there, took a test. Test started at 8, left about 10, got some breakfast, and now I'm gonna go home. I do need to show you all, hold on, let me put the seat back. My med school bestie, Bree, got me pathology socks before match day. You like them? All right, I'll see you guys later. No cytopath today, cytopath tomorrow. Like I said, started on cytopathology, so I still have 2 more weeks of this rotation, and kind of wanted to give y'all what like my thoughts and feels have been, tell y'all what cytopathology is kind of about, and yeah. Aside from the fact that like, oh my goodness, I'm gonna need you to move. I'm gonna need you to move. Okay, that's fine. So when I got home yesterday, listen, I clocked out and my total work hours was 52 hours a week. And that's fine. I feel very, very blessed that that is my average at my program, and it's very reasonable. I do not feel like it was too much or anything. I just got home and I was so tired. I was so tired. And I couldn't wait to get home, and I fell asleep on the couch watching a movie, and it was amazing. I'm very thankful for that, but the reality is that yes, I did pull a 50+ work week. I'm feeling very blessed because that is, I think, the life of a pathology resident and is quite reasonable. But I need to work up my stamina. I need to build that endurance, because coming from 4th year to that, it kind of felt like the 3rd year work hours, like 3rd year of med school work hours and work requirement that I just haven't done in a minute. I will say this week was better than 3rd year of med school, because you would work those 10+ hour days and then come home and have to study. And I really didn't have to do that. The beauty of kind of what I'm going to try to set myself up for in residency is to be as efficient and productive at work. That way when I come home, I really am home. I mean, I'll get home at 6 o'clock most evenings, and then I probably have 4 hours of just time to feel human, to do the things that make me happy, to spend time with the people that I love and care about. So that's my goal. And I think it's gonna be really, really easy to do. So anyway, ooh, my oven, hold on. I have to bake some brie. We have a cute little resident wellness thing today, so I'm just gonna bake some brie to take a little snacky snack. If y'all have never made a baked brie, I highly recommend doing it and topping it with a delightful fig butter. So good. Let me know if you try it. Comment down below if you try a little baked brie and fig butter. So yeah, home's been weird. So like, aside from becoming a new resident, I mean, I'll show y'all like a cute little apartment tour if you want it after I tell you what's been happening, but I think it's important that we talk about like what is realistic and what, you guys, I'm getting a paycheck now. Crazy, I know. Crazy. We love that. So now I'm getting paid, but I didn't really know what my paychecks were gonna look like after tax, after all of my things come out. Moving to a new state, I wasn't sure. I'm gonna have to lint roll. So when I was looking for apartments, wanted to stay well under what I probably could have spent, and I'm very thankful for that. I have really enjoyed my place. I think it's cute. However, I've had to deal with apartment management because I've had like 4 cockroaches coming out of my bathroom spigot, like the bathtub spigot. So right now I have been living with a freezer bag taped to the bathtub faucet. So tragic. So yeah, let me know if you guys want an apartment tour of my roach infested apartment. Just doing my best. I'm just doing my best. And you know, one day I'm gonna look back and fondly, I'm gonna look back and laugh. Actually, I don't think I'll laugh. I think I'm just gonna look back and be like, wow, do you remember that one time when I was a first year resident and I lived in a roach infested apartment? I'm gonna live for that moment that this is all just behind me and it'll get figured out. But if anybody knows any sort of way I can go about that, because I feel like that's a health and safety code break. It's been mostly a good 2 weeks. I feel very grateful. I love my program. My attendings have been great. My co-residents have been wonderful. Jordan and I have really been like hitting it off, and it's cool to see her every day at work. And so I'm excited how that friendship is going to grow, especially throughout the 4 years. So I wanted to talk about what cytopathology is. Before I did any pathology rotations, I didn't really know what cytopathology was. My first rotation, 3rd year, I would go on things called ROSEs, which are rapid on-site evaluations. And that's when a clinician will take a sample, a small sample, like a fine needle aspirate, a bronchial brushing, some sort of biopsy that we can check for adequacy in terms of are they getting the cells that they want, so we'll be able to make a diagnosis. So during my 3rd year, I worked at a small rural hospital system in Ohio, and I would go on some of these ROSEs, what the abbreviation is for those. And I would go on these ROSEs and found out that one of the pathologists that was doing those adequacy checks was a cytopathologist that we had in-house. My first kind of experience on cytopathology was during my 4th year audition rotations, and I did a week of cyto. I'm kind of signing out, working with that service and learning really what cytopathology is like. Now, mind you, after a week, I still didn't really know. And now I feel like I have a better idea of its role in pathology, its role in medicine. Also, that it's not for me, and that is fine. I think what's beautiful about medicine is that there are so many things that you can do, and you can really find what speaks to you. I am thankful that there are people who love the things that I do not, so they can do them and I can do my thing. That being said, just because it's not going to be my career, it doesn't mean that it has been a less than enjoyable experience at all. I'm working with an amazing fellow. My uppers have been wonderful. I'm learning so much. And so like while the work week isn't super intense, it's a long work week, my brain is working in overdrive. So kind of like what my day is like at my program when we're on the cytopathology service, our day starts at 7:30 and ends at 6. Another great thing about my program is that first years don't take call. However, we stay a little bit later just so we can help that on-call resident in the event that they get called for something else and they can't do 2 things at once. So it's a 7:30 to 6 p.m. day. We have lecture at about 8 o'clock in the morning. So get there, kind of get settled, look at what we have going on for the day, if anything's come through. My fellow's really great. He is really on top of it. While I am in lecture, he gets started on our cell blocks for the day. All of the fluid that gets collected the day before, maybe not all of the fluid, but all of the fluid that has a cell block component collected, those get spun down. A clinician takes a sample from a patient. Those cells are suspended in a saline solution. It's spun down, and the people in the histopathology lab can embed that cell block, cut it like they would a normal tissue, and then put that on a slide so we can stain it and then look at it. There's different preparations for how a cytopathologist looks at the diagnostic materials. There's different stains and slide preps for different information to gain. So we'll look at one slide where the stain is more nuclear, so we can see what the nuclear features look like, versus something that's staining the entire cell, so we can see how the entire cell looks under the microscope. The difference in cytopathology is that cytopathology and cytology is the study of the cell. So instead of surgical pathology where you're looking at an entire tissue sample and kind of, I like to say, have some context with the cells, you're now looking at those single cells on the slide and really looking to pay attention to kind of like how the cell is behaving, right? If the cell is nice, beautiful, benign, normal, it's going to look the way it should. But once they start to kind of take on a neoplastic, a dysplastic kind of behavior, they're being mean, they're not looking very nice, you can see those changes under the microscope. It's really nice because you're able to give a clinician, hey, you're in the right spot, and we can get some sort of diagnostic material out of that. Or we're able to give a patient an answer with a less invasive type of procedure. The procedures that I have been doing, they're called FNAs, fine needle aspirations. So at my program, pathology residents can go to do certain fine needle aspirations, which is nice because then I do get to have a little bit of patient interaction and am able to speak with the patient, kind of calm their nerves, hopefully. And the patients that I've had have been absolutely wonderful, especially with me learning how to do this procedure. Basically, what a fine needle aspiration is, typically it's going to be a patient that has a lesion, nodule, growth of some sort. Our criteria is that it's palpable and non-pulsatile. Non-pulsatile meaning I am not going to poke into a pulsating artery with a nice heavy blood flow behind it, and palpable meaning I can feel it. If this person has a nodule, I'm just going to kind of use my owner head. The patient has a nodule, I can feel that. I then will take a small needle and I insert the needle into that lesion, kind of move it around a little bit, try and get some cells into the hub of the needle, and then that material gets put onto a slide. We then take those slides from the patient room, look at it under the microscope, and if we have some cells that we're able to make a diagnosis with, then we consider that pretty successful. We go ahead and let the patient know that, we got some diagnostic material and we'll have an answer for you shortly, hopefully. So that's kind of like how that has been going. When you do those FNAs, we get that material, put it on a slide, typically have some cell block material that you do, and that all gets prepped for the next day. I started talking about what my day looks like on Cyto and then stopped. Get there at 7:30. I have lecture at 8 until 9. From 9 until about 10 or 11, I will touch base with my fellow, and we typically will go through the cell blocks, and we have to get our stains ordered at a certain time. So that way when we sign out with our attending later in the afternoon, we may have some answers, some diagnoses that then we can sign out with the attending and get the patient an answer. That's really kind of what the day has been like. Hold on, I gotta get my brie. Oh. Okay, well, I guess I'm not taking that. Okay, I'm gonna have to pivot. I really baked the shit out of that brie. When I am not working with my fellow or the attending and slides are kind of finishing up for the day, that's then time that I will take to study. Read about the things that we went over that day. So if we had a diagnosis, being able to kind of follow the procedures that we went through. Why are we ordering these stains? Why do these cells align with this diagnosis? And yeah, it's kind of the day. I don't know if that was a really well thought out explanation of what cytopathology is, but I mean, some of the things that come through cytopathology, pap smears, things called EBUSs, which are endobronchial ultrasounds, and typically clinicians will get samples of lymph nodes and possibly tumors that are encroaching on the bronchial wall. What are some other things? Anything ultrasound guided. So sometimes if you can't palpate a lesion for an FNA, we can get the interventional radiologists and radiologists to do an ultrasound guided fine needle aspiration. Then you can get kind of some deeper tissues and maybe get a little bit closer and feel more comfortable if something is by a vessel. I'm trying to think what else. We get called to IR quite often, and so the patient will be going through the CT machine, and then the interventional radiologists, residents, fellows, everyone who is in that CT area, they're able to see where a lesion is and use some longer needles and kind of obtain some cell material for us there. It's been kind of fun. definitely learning a ton, feeling a little bit like a doctor, which is crazy. I've been kind of typing in my diagnoses and what I'm thinking, which is how we learn kind of how to kind of find our own style in how we sign out cases, and that will only develop as I keep going. So I am excited. I'll keep an eye out, see if we have like any interesting cases or topics that I can maybe talk about for the next video. Maybe do a little bit more teaching, and I'll come up with like a cytopathology topic that I can maybe teach on and show y'all. If y'all have any questions or anything that you would like me to hit on specifically, let me know in the comments. I'll also have something on the Instagram, maybe a question or a poll or anything like that, see if what topics are on y'all's mind that I can hit on for you in the next video. So that's my update. 2 weeks into residency, 2 weeks into cytopathology. I also got told that I probably have the toughest first year schedule, but it's just like a busy first 4 months. I'm being really, really brave. Because I melted my brie, I am going to apologize explicitly to my friends. I will catch y'all later. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share this with your friends. Share this with your friends in medicine. And I'll catch y'all in another 2 weeks. Peace out.